Okay, so I'm having to re-record this lesson because of the snow day. We're actually going to have to pick up the pace and do a note and a classwork in one sitting because we did lose a day. So I was trying to make it to where it was less that you had to do each day and you had some time to kind of work on homework in class also. But because of that snow day for my Tuesday and Thursday classes, there will be one day, and it is today, where we're going to do the notes and we're going to have to do the classwork together in one class period. I know the classes are only about an hour and a half long, so I am going to pick up the pace on this video and try to make it as fast as possible. The good thing is it's a pre-recorded video, so if I do go too fast, you can pause it. You can always do the notes in class and then the classwork at home. If that's something where like the time, catches you, you would just have to make sure you make that up on your own. And then obviously the homework has to be done before the homework quiz next week on Tuesday for you guys. So just keep that in mind because you will be having a homework quiz after this week. You'll have it on Tuesday and then you'll have your unit test on Thursday. Okay, so we're going to get started. So we're going to do the notes first. I'll try to go pretty fast through those. And then after that, we do have some classwork where I'll be working out examples, and that's where I'll try to spend most of my time kind of slowing down if I need to. Okay, I do have a calculator handy, so I'm getting my phone out and getting my calculator ready. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and start, and this video is actually only for my Tuesday, Thursday classes. Because of that snow day, I have a separate video for the other classes, so everything that I label will be for your classes only. So the date would be the 8th, so it's still the 8th. Okay, and then the class periods are going to be either 2nd, 4th, or 7th periods. Okay, and then the topics are triangles if you want to write that in. Okay, so we're in the unit for triangles. Okay, so what are we studying? We're studying a theorem, and the theorem is called triangle angle sum. So what that is saying is something very easy, hopefully, to understand, and that is look at each corner of a triangle. So here's angle A, here's angle B, and here's angle C. If I take and cut these pieces out, and then I try to put them back together, which I did in the other video, I'm not going to go into it too much, but I made a triangle and then I cut the corners out, or actually ripped the corners out. And then I grabbed the pieces back together and I showed what it made, which is a certain type of angle. So like this was one angle, and then here was another, here was another. If we put them back together correctly, we're forming a 180-degree mark. So that was just kind of a visual for it. So when you take this angle, so we're going to call this angle 1, angle 2, and angle 3. When we take these three angles together and add them up, it doesn't matter what they are. If this is truly a triangle, they will always add up to 180 degrees. Okay, and we talked about this before in the other lesson as well. So 180 degrees is all three of them put together. Now that's very important because if they give you 2 to find the other one, you just subtract the 2 numbers, and so forth. So keep that in mind. Okay, so now we're going to move on to exterior angle theorem. So what if they don't give you all 3 angles? What if they only give you 2 angles on the inside? Okay, and you have an angle on the outside. How do we know it's on the outside? Because it's not inside the triangle, and also because it's on this line that has this arrow is extended out. So if you're ever trying to find angle 1, which is on the outside, it's an exterior angle, what you do is you take the 2 angles on the inside and you add them together. So you take angle 2 plus angle 3 and that automatically gives you angle 1. Okay, it's a theorem, it's a shortcut. Yes, you could find the missing angle here by subtracting these two from 180, and then to get the orange piece, you subtract this one from 180 because this is a straight line. But that's 2 steps instead of having to just add those 2. So there are other ways to get, the missing angle. But again, it's easier if you know this theorem, which is when you're finding the exterior angle, take the 2 angles that do not touch it, so they do not touch this angle, and you add them together. So that's what it means by non-adjacent. Okay, we're going to move on and start practicing some of these theorems. The theorems actually themselves are not too bad. It's when we get into the algebraic parts that they get a little bit more difficult. Okay, so here is number 1. And again, I'll kind of pause at the end of number 7, let you guys maybe take a picture if you need to. Okay, they've given me 2 angles and I need angle 1 and it's on the inside. So you're literally going to do this, 180 minus 24 minus 37. Yes, you could add these and then just subtract one number, but either way you're going to get the same answer, which is 119, and that is your final answer. Okay, so very simple to do that. Okay, next one. What if I'm finding the exterior angle? So remember, this is the exterior angle. So this is the second theorem that we did. Well, as long as they give you the 2 that are not touching angle 1 inside of that triangle, then all you have to do to find angle 1 is take 76 plus 52, add them together, and you get your answer for angle 1, which is 128 degrees. So very simple to do those 2 theorems. Okay, obviously they throw you for a loop and they start changing it. So let's look at angle 3. Here's the exterior angle, but it's not missing. The one that's missing is actually on the inside. Okay, so the theorem actually doesn't change, so it's still kind of visible up here. You're still going to take the measure of angle 1 equal to the measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 3. So we're going to set it up that way. So the measure of angle 1 was the one on the outside. So 104 is equal to, and then you add these 2 together. Angle 1 plus 79. Because we don't know what angle 1 is. So when we don't know something, usually we replace that with an x. So what you can do is you can put an x here. And then most of you guys could go from here. Once you replace that angle 1 with an x, you know that the next step is to subtract 79 on both sides. And then x equals 104 minus 79, which is 25. And again, have a calculator handy to be able to do these, but I've kind of already worked these out, so I have this, in my head or on my paper already worked out, but that's how I'm getting the answers. Okay, we said angle 1 was actually x, so we can put 25 there. Okay, so the next one down here has triangles within triangles, and that's where they start to get complicated. So single triangles are usually not that bad. Most students could do that. They can play around with the 180 number. They can even set up something like this, but it's when you get into triangles within triangles that it starts getting a little bit messy. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I do have some sticky notes handy. I might cover up some of the triangles at a time just to make it easier to see some of the things that we're talking about. Okay, so first we're talking about angle 1. So I'm going to cover up this triangle so I don't get overwhelmed with all the numbers. And I'm only going to look at angle 1. Angle 1 is in this corner. And in order to get angle 1, I've been given 2 of the numbers, and this is a triangle. Since I know that all 3, from the first theorem we learned, since I know that all 3 angles are supposed to add up to 180, my steps to finding angle 1 would be 180 minus 66 minus 84. Okay, after I subtract both of those numbers, then I'm going to get an answer of 30 degrees. Okay, so there's my answer for angle 1. I'm going to uncover this. We're going to have others to do. and I'm gonna go ahead and put 30 right here, so I just see it. Okay, now I have angle 2 and angle 3 missing. I have both. But if you remember, we have something on the outside. We have an 84, which is an exterior angle. Now, this is not the only way to solve this one, but there are several ways. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to solve for angle 2 by doing what we did in this one here. We're going to let angle 2 be x. And we're going to say 84 is equal to, and I'm just going to go ahead and replace it with x, since we know that we end up changing that to an x, plus 43. Now remember, the two angles that do not touch the 84 are the ones that I have to add together. So that would be x and 43. Okay, all you're doing is setting up a fancy equation for you to be able to subtract. X will equal 84 minus 43, which is 41. And we're saying that this is 41. I'm going to cross out that X. And then now I can put 41 in this blank. Okay. And then we have one last one. So there's a few ways you can do this. You could say 41 and 43 can get subtracted from 180 to get this one, like the way we did this one here. Now that you know 41, you can do that. You could also say, well, this is a straight line. This is 180 degrees. So to find angle 3, 180 minus 84. Now, I would do this method because it's just a one step and I only have to subtract one number instead of subtracting two numbers. So 180 minus 84 is going to be 96. So there's my answer for angle 3, and I can put that in the blank. Okay, we move on to the next one. So again, I might use the sticky note to cover up part of it to make it easier. So first, angle 1. This is very similar to the one we just did. If you want to pause and try it on your own, go ahead and do that. I'll give you a hint before you might want to pause it, is remember that that box represents 90 degrees. So we do have two angles given here, not just one. Okay, so I'm going to move on and go ahead and work out the answer. So I'm going to cover this up. The 12 is actually pointing to that corner down there, so I can cover that up as well. Okay, I only have one, so I'm looking for angle 1. I only have one triangle I have to look at for angle 1. So this is angle 1. Okay, so just like the first one we did on the other one, we're going to do the math is going to be 180 minus 90, because that's 90, minus 43. Subtract all those out and you're going to get 47. So angle 1 is 47 degrees. Okay, so we have that answer now. Then we have these two here. And again, there's different ways to solve for this one. This is not the only way. What if I go ahead and solve for angle 2, just to go in order by saying, okay, this is a straight line, this is 180 degrees. So to find angle 2, I would do 180 minus 43 degrees. That would give me 137 degrees. That is angle 2. Okay, now to find angle 3, now that I know these two angles, like this one's 137, this one's 12, and if it helps, let's cover up this part here. And you have a second triangle that you're looking at, this bottom piece. So these three corners should add up to 180. So in order to find angle 3, you could do 180 minus 137 minus 12. Subtract all those out, you get 31, and that is your answer for angle 3. Now, is this the only way to have gotten 31? No. We could have done the way we did it here, set up a problem with x. I'll say it out loud, but I won't actually do it. To get angle 3, you could use the 43. So you would say 12 plus x is equal to 43, and that would still get you the 31. Okay, We'll move on to number 6 now. Okay, so on this one, you have 2 angles, sorry, not 2 angles, you have 3 angles, but technically you already know one of them if you remember vertical angles. So this is 61 and it's across from, anytime you have like an X being formed, you know that these are vertical angles. So if this is 61, this one is 61. So I actually already have the answer for angle 2 just by looking at it. So you only have 2 angles that you really have to solve. So I'm going to cover up this bottom triangle so we don't get confused. And just like we've been doing on all of the first ones that we've done on all of these, since these are supposed to equal 180, your step is 180 minus 61 minus 68. Subtract those out, you get 51. Okay, so that is angle 1. We already talked about angle 2 just being 61. And then this is actually a pretty simple one compared to the other ones. So this is 61, this is 90, and you need angle 3. So angle 3 is missing. To get angle 3, sorry, I moved that. To get angle 3, just the way we did the top one, you're going to take 180 minus 90 minus 61. Subtract those out, you get 29. So that's 29 degrees, and that's it. Okay, now the next one is harder because of this word here, bisects. If you don't catch what that means to do to the angle, you're not going to get anywhere. Okay, bisects means to split in half. It means that the 2 pieces are equal. So now that you know that, let's find BC. Here is BC, and it's split angle ACD. So either split this one or it split these 2. So let's look at ACD. ACD. So this corner here, the one with the C. So that means that this piece and this piece are the same. Well, if the whole thing was originally a box, that means the whole thing was originally 90 degrees. So what you're going to do is you're going to take 90 and you're going to divide that by 2 to get your 2 pieces of those angles. And then you have 2 answers already knocked out. So what is 90 divided by 2? 45. So this one's 45 degrees and this one is 45 degrees. Only because of the word bisect. So you have to know that. Okay, so I already know 2 answers. Very simple to do. Now we have angle 1 and angle 4. So here's angle 1, here's angle 4. And again, I think it comes in handy to cover up part of it. So I'm going to start with angle 1 because it's number 1. We have 45, 48. It's literally what we've been doing the whole time. Take your 180, subtract 48, subtract 45, and you'll get your leftover piece to be 87. Okay, so there's angle 1. And then we'll do the same thing for the bottom. So I'm going to cover this up. And you're going to do 180 minus 45 minus 83. You subtract all those out and you get the leftover piece to be 52. So this one is 52. Okay, so I don't think the math is too difficult on any of these, but you know, if I did go too fast for anyone and you would like to take a picture of the work, this is all of the work that we have for this page here. Go ahead and take a picture, and then we're moving on to the second page. Okay. So now here is the second page. We're going to pick up the pace a little bit, but also it does get to be a little bit more confusing. They start to have some harder things being brought in to how to solve them. Okay, so we have angle 1 first. Again, if it helps, I'm going to take my sticky note and cover up the part that I'm not looking at. So if I have angle 1, I'm only looking at this triangle here. Very simple to do. 180 minus 41 minus 75. Subtract those out and you will get that angle 1 is equal to 64. Okay, so I'm going to remove this piece here. And I'm going to put 64 in angle 1 spot. Okay, now angle 2 is a little bit tricky. I'll kind of highlight angle 2. It's in between the two angles. It's not actually forming. Sorry, it's in between the two angles that are in the triangle. It's not actually part of a triangle, but hopefully you can tell that these three pieces make a straight line. So in order to get this angle 2, you just have to remember that a straight line is 180, and to get angle 2, you will do 180 minus 64 minus this box, which is 90. Subtract those two out, and you will get that angle 2 is 26 degrees. Okay, now that you have that, to get angle 3, we do it the same way we did the first one. And again, if it helps, cover up the others. And now you know that you're just doing 180 minus 54 minus 90. And you get that this is going to be 36. Okay. So then I move on to number 9. Now this one is a little bit complicated because again, in the pictures or in the instruction, it has a picture, and if you don't know what that picture stands for, it's going to mess you up. So this is saying that L is parallel to M. If you don't know that this line is parallel to this line, you won't be able to use some of the properties that we learned, alternate interior, consecutive interior, and so forth. So you have to know that these are parallel so you can put them to be equal. You can't just assume they are. You have to know because they're parallel, they are equal. Okay, so what exactly is equal? Well, I'm going to go over it with my pen here. This Z here that's being formed, this 49 is equal with this 4. So this is 49. Only because of alternate interior angles. So I'm going to write that a little bit better because the 49 came out a little bit sloppy. Okay, so now that we know that those two corners are both 49, I can come over here and put 49 in angle 4 spot. Then there's a few that we can do, so it just depends on which route you want to go. But I could go ahead and find angle 5 because this is a straight line, and a straight line measures 180 degrees. So if this is 49, I do 180 minus 49, and that's going to give me angle 5. Angle 5 is 131. Okay, so then we have angle 3. Angle 3 is in the same style. So we do 180 minus 73, and we get that angle 3 is equal to 107. So over here, we just have 2 that are missing, angle 1 and 2. Once we find 2, we'll be able to do the same thing here, which is subtract from 180, because this is a straight line. But in order to be able to do that, we have to have one of these angles because you can only be missing one. Okay, to find angle 2, remember, and I mean, I could use a sticky note on this side, and then technically I would need another one, a sticky note on this side. So hopefully you can catch there's a triangle there. So this corner is 49, this corner is 73. So to get angle 2, you're going to do 180 minus 73 minus 49. You got to subtract both. Once you subtract those, you get that angle 2 is 58. So that is angle 2. So that's how we get 58. Okay. And then lastly, how do we get angle 1? Remember, this is a straight line. So we would do 180 minus 58 minus 49. Angle 1 is equal to 73 degrees. Okay, so that one was a little bit tougher. I think that one's probably one of the hardest ones because it has so much to write in. Okay, going to the next one. So this one has 6 angles we have to find. It has a few boxes. Remember, the boxes represent 90. So we're going to keep going from there. So we have angle 1 here. I can't find angle 1, so like on this one I just started with angle 4 because I saw that they were the same and I just started with it. Over here I'm gonna have to pick which one I need to start with. Excuse me. I can't do angle 1 yet because I have an angle 2 missing, angle 1 missing, angle 4. I don't have any information to be able to go from there. Now I can do angle 4. So I'm going to start with that one. So hopefully you could catch that angle 4 is the style that we just did. It's straight line. So to find angle 4, you would do 180 minus 86. That's going to give you the answer to angle 4, which is 94 degrees. I would put it in the picture. I know it gets messy, but then it allows you to see what you do have. Okay, so now that I have 94 there, I'm going to keep going. So I have 94 in this corner, I have 86 in this corner, I have 52, and then I do have a 90 degree here, because this is a box. Now technically I have 90 degrees in all the corners, but they're getting split, so I can't technically know what exactly it is, unless there's another number given. So that's why I started with this corner, which is just 90, there's nothing splitting it. Well, if this is 52 and this is 90, to get angle 3, you're going to do 180 minus 52 minus 90. Okay, when you subtract 180 minus 52 minus 90, that gives you angle 3, and angle 3 is 38 degrees. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put that here. So now that I know that one, there's another one I could find. So remember I told you this box is 90 degrees. So this whole thing is 90. Well, I have 52. So if I need to find this piece, all I have to do is subtract it from 90. So 90 minus 52 will get me that answer. And that would be angle 6. Angle 6 is 38. Okay, so now that I have 38 there, I can keep going to try to find some of the other answers. So my next one, pen's running out, I'll switch over, will be, let's see, we just found angle 6. I need to write that one in. That one was 38. Okay, so the next one that I can find could be angle 5, because I have 86, I have 38, so to get angle 5, I would do 180 minus 86 minus 38, and that's going to give me angle 5, which is 56. Okay, I keep going, and let's see what else we're missing. Oops. I was just checking my math on one. Okay, so I have angle 2 and angle 1 missing. So I could get angle 1 because this whole corner is 90 degrees. And since now I know that this one is 56, to get angle 1, we're going to do it the way we did this one down here. We're going to do 90 minus 56. That's going to give you your answer for angle 1, which is 34. And now that you know angle 1, you can find angle 2, because angle 2 is going to be the style that we've been doing with the 180. To find angle 2, you're going to do 180 minus the 34 minus the 94. Subtract those out, and angle 2 will be 52. Okay, so if you need to write those in, we're moving on to number 11 again. So again, it gets harder to do because we have more things that we have to write, and it's hard to keep up with everything. So yes, I do like to write into the picture. It's not something you have to do, but I do recommend it for you to be able to see the numbers. And then again, if you don't need to see them, that's okay. And also, if you're doing it online, this would be very difficult to do, like with the draw tool. So just, try to pay attention as I'm writing it in. That will also help. Okay, let's move on to number 11. So I have a few that I could go ahead and knock out because they're vertical angles. So if this is 71, angle 2 is 71. So I can go ahead and go to angle 2 and put a 71 in there. Okay, now that I have that written in, the next one I could do is the one beside it because they're a straight line. And if they're a straight line, then I'm able to figure out its value. So this is a straight line. So if I'll do it over here, 180 minus 71. That's going to give me that piece right there, which is angle 3. And angle 3 is going to equal 109. So now that I know that that's 109, the one across from it is 109. So angle 3 is 109, and so is angle 5. So we knocked out a few blanks right there pretty quickly. Okay, now that I have that, I'm going to keep going. I can find angle 1. Angle 1 can be found because I have a 47 and a 71, and since this is a triangle, angle 1 can be found by doing minus 71 minus 47. Subtract those out. Angle 1 equals 62. Again, I would write it in. Next, that this is parallel to this. It's got that block arrow. Since they're parallel, if this is 62, this one is 62 because it has that Z shape that we talked about in the other one up here. So now that we know that that's 62 and that's 62, I can write that in. Okay, I can find angle 7 because if that's 71 and that's 62, angle 7 will be found by doing 180 minus 62 minus 71. It's going to give you that answer, which angle 7 is 47. Okay. So let's see. Same style to find angle 6. You're going to do 180 minus 109 minus 42. Okay, and that's going to give me angle 6. Angle 6 equals 29. Again, I would write it in. So now the only one I'm missing is angle 4. I go to angle 4 and I'm going to do the same style. To find angle 4, I'm going to do 180 minus 109 minus 36. Subtract those out and angle 4 is 35 degrees. Okay, we have them all filled in now. Pretty messy. To be honest, I like the algebraic work better because it's a lot cleaner. So we're going to go through these, work these out, and then we do have the classwork afterwards. Okay, so if you need to, pause the video, take a picture, we're going to move on. So this next one is with algebra. All you have to do is solve for x. That's it. It doesn't ask you to plug it back in, but I'm sorry, it does ask you to plug it back in, but you have to solve for x first, and then plugging it in is very simple because you have equations there, so it's not very hard. Okay, so we're going to solve for x, and the way we're going to do that is by setting up our equation, and yes, we definitely need a calculator for most of these things. They are whole number answers, but you do need a calculator to be able to calculate some of the division parts. Okay, So right there, we have our setup, or we need to set up our problem. This is a triangle. So all three corners are equal to 180. Okay, that should be burned in your brain now. That means I take all three corners, add them up, and set them equal to 180. So I take, and you can start with any of them. I'm going to start with just D in the ABC order. So I'm going to start D, E, F. So 5x minus 2 plus, next one, 9x plus 3 plus, next one, 11x minus 21. All of that equal to 180. Now that I've set it up for you, you should be able to do this part on your own, but I still have students that mess up on the algebraic part. So I will walk you through the steps on this one, but I will be picking up the pace more, especially in the class break part, once we get to that part. So you need to get better at those algebra skills. Okay, so we have 5 and 9 and 11. They're all on the same side. So since I'm not bringing them across the equal sign, I don't change any signs. I just add them together. So 9 plus 5 plus 11, that's going to give me 25x. Okay. Know how to either use your calculator or know how to group them in a way that it makes it easier. If I do 11 and 9 first, that gives me 20, and then I have 5, so that's 25. And then you can do it in your head. Now, if you can't, not a big deal. Grab a calculator and type in 5 plus 9 plus 11. You'll get 25. Just don't forget the x. Okay, now I have numbers. I have a -2, I have a +3, and a -21. You literally type them the way you see them. If you're going to use your calculator, since it does have negatives, you would do -2 plus 3 minus 21. Hit enter on the calculator and it's going to give you your answer. The answer is going to be minus 20. Now just to show those who, and it's probably going to be too bright, so let me try to lower it down a little bit. So hopefully you can see most of what I type in. So I'm typing in -2 first, and then I do +3. I'm not changing any signs at all. And I did mess up here. Should have been minus 21. Okay, I hit -2 plus 3 minus 21. I hit enter and I get -20. Well, I was assuming you could see that, but I don't think you really can. Yeah, you really can't. But if you could see it, you would see -2 plus 3 minus 21. Okay, I think you can see it a little bit there. And then the answer is -20 on the calculator. So that's how you get that answer. Okay, just showing you again how to type it in, but should be something I have to slow down to do. So we keep going, you get 180, you bring that down, and then you just solve. So this is a two-step problem. Now we are going across the equal sign, so we are going to change signs. So 25x is equal to 200, divide by 25 on both sides, and x is equal to 8. Now that's just one of the answers. Now I have to find angle D, angle E, and angle F. And this is actually pretty simple to do. All you have to do is plug in 8 into each of these, hit enter, and you have your answer. So the next step is angle D is equal to 5 parentheses 8 minus 2. Angle E is equal to 9 parentheses 8 plus 3. And the last one, F, is equal to 11 parentheses 8 minus 21. Now, you can just type these into the calculator and not have to worry about them. I'm going to go ahead and just walk you through them by hand. So 5 times 8 is 40 minus 2, 38. So there's that answer. 9 times 8 is 72 plus 3 is going to be 75. Okay, last one, 11 times 8 is 88. I would take this in parts. So 88 minus 20 is 68, minus 1 is 67. So there you have it. You have your 4 answers there. Okay, so now let's see what we do in the next one. Still have a triangle, still have all 3 sides given with x's. So all I have to do is the exact same thing I just did from the previous one. So I challenge you to try to set this one up, maybe pause it here and see if you can do it. And if you can't, then just wait. I will be setting it up for you, but I challenge you to try to set it up, solve for x, see if you get everything correct. Okay, so literally the same thing. Start with, you know, whatever corner you want and then go from there. So I'm going to start with P, Q, and then R, just to keep them in ABC order. And also, I'm trying to keep it the same way that they're going to have it in the blanks. So P, Q, R, so I'm going to have 10x minus 4 plus Q is 4x minus 22 plus x plus 11, all of it equal to 180. Now I'm going to go through and combine my x's first. So I have 10 and 4, that's 14, and then a 1, because even though it didn't have a number, there's a 1 there. So that's 14 plus 1, so that's 15x. And I have my numbers, negative 4, negative 22, and positive 11. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and combine these two. Negative 22 and positive 11 is going to be negative 11, and then negative 4 again is going to be negative 15. Now remember, do it in your, if you can't do it in your head, which it's hard to do negatives for the most part in your head, grab a calculator and then put negative 4 minus 22 plus 11, hit enter, and it'll give you that negative 15 that I got. Okay, now from here it's a two-step problem. You're going to add 15 to both sides. 15x is equal to 195, divide by 15, and this is why I said you probably needed a calculator. Besides the fact that, you know, when you're combining the negatives, this is a large number to divide, but x equals 13. Okay, now that I have x, do not forget that you have to plug this back in. So I'm going to plug it into P, Q, and R. Now you can mess this up and plug it into the wrong equation and then get the wrong answer in the blank, which will be counted wrong. So make sure that you don't mess that up. So P is 10 parentheses 13 minus 4. Q is 4 parentheses 13 minus 22. And the last one is 13 plus 11. Besides the last one, which you can do in your head, that's going to be 24. The other two, I'll just put into the calculator. I wouldn't try to mess with those by hand because 13 is hard numbers to multiply. Now 10 and 13 is pretty simple. That's just 130. Minus 4 is 126. This one definitely go with the calculator. 4 times 13 minus 22. Once you put that in the calculator, you get the answer is 30. Okay, so those are your 4 there. We're now going to move on to number 14. Okay, so number 14 is a little bit different because the two that are given are on the inside and then there's one on the outside. So if you remember, we did this style question on the front, and this was the second theorem. So these are the two on the inside. And this is the one on the outside. Remember, to get the one on the outside, the way we were setting up is we said 18x minus 15 is equal to, take these two and add them. So I'm going to put add here. So we know that that plus means add. Okay, so you do 13x minus 11 plus 4x plus 1. Okay. Always combine anything on this on the same side first. So over here on this side we have a 13x and a 4x. So we're going to combine those first. So I have 18x minus 15. Nothing to combine there. 13 and 4 is going to give me 17x. And then now I have negative 11 plus 1. So that's going to be minus 10. So now that we have our setup there, we can combine our like terms now. I always like to move my smaller x towards the larger x to avoid having any negatives. So that's x minus 15 is equal to negative 10. Do not forget that there is a negative with that 10. Add 15. X is equal to, so this is another fancy way of saying 15 minus 10. So this is just 5. And again, if negatives confuse you, just put it in the calculator. Not a big deal. Okay, so x equals 5. And remember, you have to plug that back in. So you take and you plug it into the right ones. Now it starts getting complicated, these two do, because you have to know what CAB, ABC, excuse me. Oh, you have to know which corner they're talking about. So CAB, talking about this corner right here. That's angle A. So I'm going to put out to the side, angle A, in case you were wondering where I got to plug it in. Okay, so that's going to be 13 times 5 minus 11. Again, with those 13s, I would just probably put them into the calculator, and that's going to give me 54 degrees. Okay, A, B, C. That's this corner over here. So this technically is angle B. Okay, so that's the second one I'm plugging in. 4 parentheses 5 plus 1. So that one's easy to do in your head. That's just 21. Okay, now A, C, B. These you can't just say, oh, angle C, because there's two angle C's. So there's one on this side and one on this side. So this is the reason why they had to use letters, and they went ahead and did letters on all of them. Okay, A, C, B is this corner right here, and we don't have an equation for it. So I'm going to leave that blank right now. DCB, DCB is this one here. Okay, I do have an equation for that one. That's the 18x minus 15. So I'm going to put 18 parentheses 5 minus 15. That's going to give me, remember, not this blank, but the next one. And that's going to give me 75. Okay, now that I know that this is 75, I can find this one here by just doing 180 minus 75. So I had to do this one first to be able to get that 75. Okay, so in order to get that 75, I had to find the bottom one first. That gives me 105. Okay, so this one was a little bit of a tricky question at the end when you had to plug in. Okay, last one is done the exact same way. So again, I challenge you to pause it and try to do number 15. See what you can do there. Okay, these are the two on the inside. So those are the two that are going to get added together. This is the one on the outside. So this is the one that's by itself on the equal sign. Okay, so setting up the problem, we have 9x minus 8 is equal to 7x minus 32 plus 5x minus 27. I'm going to combine my like terms first. So 9x minus 8, nothing to combine, but I have a 7x and I have a 5x. So that's going to be 12x. And then I have a negative 32 and a negative 27. That's going to be negative 59. And now I'm going to combine my like terms. Okay, I always move my smaller x towards the larger x. Bring down the negative 8 with the negative. 12 minus 9 is going to be 3x minus 59. Add 59 to both sides. It's a fancy way of saying, let me push this up, 59 minus 8, which is actually going to be 51, equals 3x. Divide by 3 on both sides, and x is equal to 17. So again, calculator would come in handy there because I don't know it off the top of my head that it's 17. Okay, showing what I plugged in. So this is 17. JKL. JKL is actually just angle K. So I'm going to write that over here. Okay, so angle K is 7 parentheses 17 minus 32. Again, put that in the calculator and you're going to get 87. KJL. KJL is actually just angle J. So angle J is 5 parentheses 17 minus 27. Put that in the calculator and you get 58 degrees. Okay, just like before, we're going to see if we can get this one. So we have KLJ. Now it's this corner here. We can't just say angle L, so it's not just angle L. There's no equation on it. There's no expression on it, so I can't really plug anything in to find it. There are ways to find it. Excuse me. I'm going to show you a different way this time to get that answer. So on the previous one, I said find the orange piece and then subtract it from 180. So you could still do that. I'm going to go ahead and show you another way you could do this. Well, you already plugged it into these two. Let me write them in. So angle K was just 87. Angle J was just 58. So now that you know that those two values are 87 and 58, to get this one, you're just going to do 180 minus 87 minus 58. If you do that, you'll automatically get that third one. So if you wanted to show the work over here, 180 minus 87 minus 58, that's going to give you 35. So again, more than one way to get some of these answers. Okay, again, KLM. KLM is this orange piece. So you could do 9 times 17, and that was the next part, minus 8. Again, I would put that in the calculator and I get 145 degrees. Another way you could do it, and I won't write it down so it doesn't get messy, but now that you know that this one is 35 degrees, you could, since this is a straight line, you could do 180 minus 35, and that would give you the 145. Okay, so that is it for the notes. We're going to automatically go ahead and move into the classwork. So this video is only for 2nd, 4th, and 7th because the other classes, my odd classes, they did not have a snow day. They actually did see the days they were supposed to, and they're not behind, so they will be able to split this up into 2 parts. I'm saying that in case you click on a video from their class, it'll obviously start off the same, but at the end, they'll get a chance to work on homework, and you guys are going straight into the classwork. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the classwork. So here is the classwork that we're working on. So I'm going to put on here CW, so I know that this is classwork and not homework. So this is going to be, again, either 2nd, 4th, or 7th period. And if we wanted to put a date on it, this should be not the 7th, should be the 8th, I believe. Yes. Okay. So now that we have that written out, I'm going to go through and work all of these out for you. I will go fast, but this is to help you be able to do the ones on the homework. So if I do go too fast, pause it, concentrate on what you need to, and then start it back up. Okay, find the value of x. So we just got done doing all of these types of problems, but the good thing is nothing here does it say like to plug it back in. So on 1 through 4, it's just find the value of x. Okay. So I've been given 3 pieces, even though it doesn't look like it, I have been given 3 pieces. This piece right here is 90 degrees. I have all 3, 90 plus 5x minus 2 plus 3x plus 4. Set it all equal to, oops, it's messing up, I was gonna say equal to 90. Set it all equal to what a triangle equals, which is not 90, but 180. Okay, so again, your algebra skills should be something that you can do on your own. So I'm going to hopefully be able to pick up the pace on these. So we have 5x, we have 3x, that is 8x, and then you have 90 minus 2 plus 4. So I would do 90 plus 4 first, and then the minus 2, so that's 94 minus 2. So that is plus 92 equals 180. Subtract 92. 8x is equal to, so 180 minus 90 is 90, minus 2 is 88, divide by 8, and x is equal to 11. Okay, give me just a second, I'll be right back. Okay, sorry, I'm back now. So we have angle 2. Angle 2, sorry, not angle 2, we have problem number 2. In problem number 2, it's going to be worked out the exact same way. So We're going to start that one now. So we have 9x minus 8 plus x plus 2 plus x plus 10 is equal to 180. Okay, we're going to go through this one. And again, combine my like terms first. 9x and x is 10x plus another x is 11x. And then next one, negative 8 plus 2 plus 10. So I would just do 10 plus 2 first, that's 12, minus 8, and that's going to give you plus 4. Equals 180. Subtract 4. 11x is equal to 176. Divide by 11, and x is equal to 16. Okay, so we have that answer there. Next, we have, and remember we did these in our notes, we have these two on the inside, and we have this one on the outside. So now that you can hopefully see that, we can set this problem up differently. So we take our 1 on the outside, 9x plus 3, is equal to these two being added together. So 11x minus 2 plus 9x plus 1. Okay, I'm going to go through and solve for this one. On this side here, I'm going to combine my like terms. So I'm going to bring down 19x plus 3 equals, I have 11 plus 9, that gives me 20x. Then I have negative 2 and positive 1, so that gives me minus 1. Then I'm going to combine my like terms. I bring my smaller x towards my larger x. I have 3 is equal to x minus 1. Add 1 to both sides. X is equal to 4. Okay, next one. So hopefully you catch these little marks right here. These marks means that those two angles are the same. So if this is 7x plus 2, this is 7x plus 2. So now that you know that, this is actually going to be just like the one we just did. There's the 2 on the inside, there's 1 on the inside. So the only way you can mess this up is if you accidentally forget that these are 2, and then you only set one of them equal to it. Okay, so my problem is going to be 17x minus 23 is equal to 7x plus 2 plus 7x plus 2. Again, combine your like terms, so bring down that 17x minus 23. 7 and 7 is 14x. 2 and 2 is plus 4. Yes, you could have just doubled it and brought it, like written it over already, and then saved yourself some space there. Okay, I'm going to combine my like terms and get my answer. Okay, so first I'm going to bring my smaller x towards my larger x. This gives me 3x minus 2 is, no, minus 23 is equal to 4. Add 23 to both sides. 3x is equal to 27. This one you should be able to do in your head. X is equal to 9. Okay, if you need to pause and take a picture there, give you just a second to do that. Okay, I'm going to move on to number 5 next. Okay, this one, the instructions change a little. It says find the values of x and y in the diagram below. So you have to be careful because you can't find x using y. You can't find y using x. So you have to solve for one variable first and then move on to the others. Just keep that in mind. Okay, so now that you know that, we can start by looking to see what we have. Okay, so I have, let's see, this triangle here. I have 11x minus 9 on this side. And I have a y, and I can't add these three together because this is an x and a y. Over here, it looks like I'm missing a piece, so I can't add these three together. But remember, these are vertical angles. So if this is 11x minus 9, this is 11x minus 9. So now that I know that I have all three pieces, so I'm going to highlight those three pieces. Hopefully it'll make sense. I have all three corners. I can set those three pieces added to 180. So 6x minus 2 plus 11x minus 9 plus the 72 equals 180. Do not forget the 72 or you won't have a right answer. Okay. I have 6 and 11. Got to combine those first. So that's 17x. I have negative 2 and negative 9 and a positive 72. So negative 2 and negative 9 is negative 11. So it's basically 72 minus 11. So that's plus 61. It equals 180. Subtract 61 from both sides. 17x is equal to 119. Divide by 17. Okay, and x is equal to 7. Now there's my first answer. X is equal to 7. Okay, now that I have x, if I plug x back into this corner, now I can solve for y. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in 11 times 7 minus 9. Okay, so I'm going to show my work here. So 11 times 7 is 77 minus 9. It's going to be the first thing I do. So 77 minus 9 is going to be 68. Okay, so now I'm going to put a 68 here. Now that I know that this is 68, I can do 68 plus 30 plus this, set it equal to 180, and it's going to give me y. Is this the only way to do it? No, it's not the only way to do it. It's just one of the ways that I can do it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so to set up my problem, I'm going to do 30 plus 68 plus 5y minus 8. Set it equal to 180 and then solve. Okay, so I'm going to combine all my numbers. 30 plus 68 and then minus 8. So 30 plus 68 and then what's the last part? Minus 8. It gives me 90. So I have 5y plus 90 is equal to 180. So I combined all these and that's how I got 90. Subtract 90 from both sides. 5y is equal to 90 because 180 minus 90 is just 90. Divide by 5 on all sides and you get that y is equal to 18. Remember, there's more than one route to get the answer. So you might have gotten the answer and not necessarily set it up the same way as I did. So just keep that in mind as we're getting some of these answers. Okay, so there's that one. Now we're going to move on to the next one. Okay, so this next one has an exterior angle in it. It has a y and it has an x. Now, I'm going to highlight the x's. Because these two have x's in them, I can't work with this one here. So it's like this one doesn't even exist. Don't even think about that one. So now I'm going to go back over the one that I highlighted in yellow, and I'm actually going to put this in orange because we had done this in orange up until now. So remember, this is exterior angle. Exterior angle is 9x plus 4. Set that equal to these two being added together. So that's going to be 4x minus 7 plus 86. And then combine your like terms and get your answer. So this is going to be 9x plus 4 is equal to, this is going to be 4x. And then this is 86 minus 7. So 86 minus 6 is 80, minus 1 more is going to be 79. So plus 79. And then now combine your like terms. So first I like to move my x, my smaller x towards the larger x. So that's going to be minus 4. So 5x plus 4 is equal to, ignore that line that I had put under there. going to be equal to a positive 79. Subtract 4. 5x is equal to 75. And then divide by 5. X is equal to 15. Okay, I'm going to make a little bit of a line here. And then now, how am I going to get y using this? There's a few ways to do it. You can plug it into this one and then subtract it from 180, and then it gives you what to set up for y. You can do plug it into the orange piece, and then this plus that number is equal to 180. So that's the route that I'm going to go. There's, again, more than one way in triangles to get these answers. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to plug it into the orange piece. So 9 parentheses 15 plus 4. So 9 times 15 plus 4 is going to give me 139 degrees. So that's 139. So now that I know that that's 139, I can set up my problem. 7y minus 1 plus the 139 is equal to 180. Now that I have that, I can solve my problem. 7y plus, remember, combine these. So this would be plus 138, because you subtract 1 from it, is equal to 180. Subtract 138. And then you have 7y is equal to 180 minus 138, and it's 42. You should be able to get this one off the top of your head. Y is equal to 6. 42 divided by 7 is 6. Okay, this next one's a little bit harder again because of the reading, and you have to realize that there's parallel lines in it. It makes it a little bit harder to see some of the things. Okay, L is parallel to M. Okay, that's very important because if you don't know that these two pieces are parallel, you'll miss out on a few pieces being congruent. Okay, now that we know that these are parallel, we know that we have this Z, and again, it might help to turn this a little bit, but we have a Z here, okay? That Z getting formed means there's a few pieces that are the same. So what is exactly the same? So let me kind of go over that Z here. So this is 5x minus 8. This is 5x minus 8. So once we figure out what that 5x minus 8 is, it's actually going to go into both of them. So once we figure out x, we can put it in both of them. Okay. So now that I know that, I can actually, and I'll use my sticky notes, cover this up. And do I have another one? Here we go. Oh, that's sticky. Okay, I can cover up this part, and hopefully you can see it now. There's a triangle here, so I can do this to get my answer. I can do 7x minus 31 plus 63 plus 5x minus 8, set that all equal 180. So because this is a triangle, I can do that. Okay, I'm going to combine my like terms, get my answer. Okay, so 7 and 5 make 12x. Negative 31, positive 63, minus 8 is going to be positive 24. All equal to 180 because it's a triangle. You're going to subtract 24 from both sides. 12x is equal to 180 minus 24 is 156. Divide by 12. X is equal to 13. So there's the answer for X. Now to get Y, there's a few ways to do it, but I always like to go to that this is a straight line and this is 180, so I'll be setting it up the way I did the other one. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in X for the 5x minus 8. So I'm going to go ahead and put it all in an equation. So a little bit differently than I did on this one. I'm not going to plug it in separately. I'll do it all together. So I'm going to do 5 parentheses the 13 minus 8 plus 4y plus 27. Set that all equal to 180. Okay, so I'm still, going to end up multiplying that out, but I went ahead and just put it all into an equation. Okay, so that's going to give me 65. So now I'm going to combine my like terms. So 65 minus 8 plus 27. So 65 minus 8 plus 27 is going to give me 84. So I bring down 4y plus 84 is equal to 180. Subtract 84. 4y is equal to 180 minus 80 would have been 100 minus 4 more would have been 96. Divide that by 4. 96 divided by 4, y is equal to 24. Okay, I'm going to leave that there in case you need to take a picture of it. Go ahead and look at that, see what you can do with that, and I'm going to move on to the last part on the back. Okay, so now these look like the last ones that we had in our notes. We have 5 left. So there is a difference on these. Some of these have been given in words, and we need a refresher on how to find angle measures in words. So first of all is they no longer have given you the picture of the triangle. So with that being said, we have to draw in the triangle. Now, it doesn't matter if you draw it in, you don't have to use the visual, but I like to have a triangle. So if you want to draw in a triangle, you can, but you do not have to. I like to draw it in, so I am going to be drawing a triangle. Now I'm going to cheat a little bit, and I'm going to be using this stencil here that I have to draw the triangles, just so they look nice for you guys. But you can freehand it, it's not a big deal. Since I don't know what the triangles exactly look like, I'm just going to pick like a basic triangle. This is an equilateral, but remember the triangle could look like this, it could look like this one. I mean, there's several ones, so I'm just picking a basic one, but it's not drawn to scale, obviously, because I wouldn't know until I knew the measures if I was drawing it to scale or not. So I'm going to pick a corner over here, and I'm just going to draw a triangle in all of them, just so I have it and that I have something to like look at whenever I'm writing in some of these values. Okay, so I drew my triangles in. Most of them, I picked it up in the end on that one. Okay, so I have my triangles there, and we're going to begin. So I'm going to read the question and then see what it's given to me and then go from there. So we have PQR, so pick P, Q, and R. We have that angle P is x minus 12. Okay, we have that angle Q is, I'm going to draw an arrow for this one, 5x minus 27. And then we have that angle R, this one here, is 2x plus 3. It says find x and find the measure of each angle. So this is actually not too bad. Something that you probably could have done without drawing the picture, but again, I like to visually see it, so I want to draw the picture. So this is x minus 12 plus 5x minus 27 plus 2x plus 3. If you haven't caught on, I'm adding all 3 corners together and setting them equal to 180 because this is a triangle and they always equal 180. That was the first theorem we learned. Okay, combine your like terms and get your answer. So 5 and 1x is going to be 6, 7, 8. So 8x. And then now I'm going to combine my numbers. So negative 12, negative 27, positive 3. That's going to give me negative 36, all equal to 180. Add 36 to both sides. 8x is equal to 216. Divide by 8. X is equal to 27. Okay, so there's my first blank. Now remember, you have to plug this back in. So you're going to plug it into each one. So I'm just going to write out here in order. First I plug it into 12, so that's 27 minus, first I plug it into angle P. So that's going to be 27 minus 12. Then I plug it into Q. So that's going to be 5 parentheses 27 minus 27. And then the last one I plug it into is going to be Q. Okay, R. I said the wrong one. Last one I plug it into is R. 2 times 27 plus 3. Okay, put those into the calculator and you're going to get 15 degrees for the first one. You're going to get 108 for the next one. And the last one is 57. Okay. Okay. Here is where it starts getting a little bit confusing. So we haven't had this in a while. I think it was since like homework 5 was the last time we saw something written this way. They told you what angle A is, but they wrote it out this way. Now these are actually a little bit easier. The ones we did before had like the measure of angle C, and you had to know that that was actually X. This is telling you that it's X, so hopefully it's not so bad. First, we're going to put ABC, and again, it doesn't matter which way you do it. This is a visual, so you could do it any way you wanted to. You could put A at the top, B over here. So then it says the measure of angle A is means equals, and then this is 6 less than means minus 7 times X. So that's 7X. Now this would be right, except for, hopefully you remember that when it's written in words, you will switch these two. So if you put 6 minus 7x, that's going to be wrong. But if you put 7x minus 6, then A is right. So don't forget that. Okay, so let's practice that, writing it over here. I won't write it on the words anymore. Angle B is 5 less than 3 times x. So 3x minus 5. Okay. And then the last one, where is it? Angle C is 5 less than 4 times x. So this is going to be 4 times x, 5 less than. Okay, so now that we have those, we do the exact same thing we did at the top. So we do 7x minus 6 plus 3x minus 5 plus 4x minus 5, set that equal to 180. Combine your x's first, so you have 7 and 3, that's 10, plus 4, that is 14x. Then you have negative 6, negative 5, that's negative 11, negative 5, again, it's negative 16. Okay, add 16 to both sides. 14x is equal to 196, divide by 14 on both sides. X is equal to 14. So there's my first answer. And then now I'm going to go through and make sure I plug them into the right one. So this is going to be 7 times 14. Let me fix that. Okay, 7 times 14 minus 6, that's A. And then B is going to be 3 times 14 minus 5. And then C is going to be 4 times 15 minus 5. Plug those all in, and if you do it correctly, you should have 92, 37, and 51. Okay, next one, same style, so if you want to try it on your own, you can. I'm going to go ahead and start setting it up. So we have J, K, and L. Then it says angle L, so this one here, is 13 more than the measure of angle K. Okay, So this is the one where they don't use x, they use the measure of angle k, but you have to remember that that's going to be your unknown, so that's going to be x. So angle k is just x, and L is 13 more than the measure of angle k, so it's just x plus 13, because remember you switch it. J is 7 more than 6 times the measure of angle k, which remember that's just x. So that's going to be 6x, and then it was 7 more, so plus 7. And then you're going to find each measure and go from there. Okay, so this one was, I think, a little bit tougher. Just the setup was. So 6x plus 7 plus x plus 13, all of it equal to 180. Go through and get my answer. So 6x and x is 7x, plus another x is going to be 8x. And then I have positive 7, positive 13. So that's plus 20 equals 180. Subtract 20. 8x is equal to 160. Divide by 8. X is equal to 20. Okay, so over here there's not a space for x, it's just the plug-in ones. So first I need to find angle J. It's going to be 6 times 20 plus 7. Then I have to find angle K. That is just 20, because it was just x. And the last one would be 20 plus 13. Okay, 6 times 20 plus 7 is going to be 127. Angle K is just 20, and then 20 plus 13 is going to be 33. Okay, so it should be your 3 answers there. Okay, so we're down to the last 2. We have W, X, and Y. So again, same style, writing them out. W is 5 less than twice the measure of angle Y. So when you see that, you know that's your unknown. So that's going to be X. Okay, so my Y is X. I'm going to go ahead and write that in. 5 less than twice Y is going to be 2X minus 5, because remember you switch them. Okay, next one is X. X is 21 more than the measure of angle Y. So that's your X, so it's 21 plus X. And then find the measure of each angle. So do the same thing we did before. So setting this up is going to be 2X minus 5 plus 21 plus X again is equal to 180. I combine my x's first. 2x and x and x. So that's 2, 3, 4. So 4x, and then minus 5 plus 21. So that's 21 minus 5. So it's just going to be plus 16 is equal to 180. Subtract 16. 4x is equal to 164. Divide by 4. X is equal to 41. I'm going to fix that up a little bit because you can tell that that's 41. Okay, so now that we know our x value, to find W, you just plugged it back in. So 2 parentheses 41 minus 5. To find x, it would be 21 plus, and then it would be the 41. And then y is just going to be the 41. Okay, so that would be 82 minus 5, so it's going to be 77. This one would be 2662. And the last one is just 41. And again, you could just type them into the calculator to get your answers. Okay, so last one now. Okay, we have D, E, F. E is 1 more than 3 times the measure of angle F. So here's angle F, that's your unknown. So I'm going to go ahead and put an X there. So I'm going to read it again. 1 more than 3 times f. So on angle E, I go to 3 times f and I add 1 more. Angle D is 3 more than 7 times f. So there's 7x, and then it's 3 more, so that's plus 30. Find the measure, blah, 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 same thing we've been doing. So now you have 7x plus 3 plus 3x plus 1 plus x. Set that all equal to 180. Oops. Okay. 7 and 3x is going to be 10 plus 1 is going to be 11x. Positive 3, positive 1 is plus 4. All of 180, subtract 4. 11x is equal to 176 divided by 11. X is equal to 16. Okay, so now that we have that, we just need to find angle D, E, and F. So D will be 7 parentheses 16 plus 3. E will be 3 parentheses 16 plus 1. And then F is just 16. Okay, plug those into the calculator, you get 115, and you get 49. And then 16 is just 16. Okay, so you need to take a picture, go ahead and do that. I'm just going to show you the homework and tell you when it's due and all of that, and then we'll be ending the video. Okay, so you should now have homework 15, and again, this is only for my even classes, so I know that this is either 2nd, 4th, or 7th periods. And I'm going to put your due date on here, and again, it should only apply to these classes because you are the only ones that had to record the whole thing. The others got the video where it was split up. Okay, so this is going to be due on 12/10, which is on this Thursday of this week. Okay, now remember, that's just for you to be able to answer that if I ask when was the due date of this one. But I just want you to make sure you have these done by next week, because next week is your homework quiz. I'll be saying this again in the next video that you watch, and it's actually going to be the last video. I know, teardrop. It's going to be the last video that I have for you guys before we're done. So the due date is Thursday, because on Thursday you'll actually be getting your last homework, which is homework 16. You need to have homeworks 10 through 16 completed by next Tuesday, because next Tuesday you will have a homework quiz where I will ask you questions over 10 through 16 homework. So I might have a question where I say homework 15 was due what day, and you'd have to pick 12/10 would be the correct answer. I might say, what's the answer for angle 1? I might say, how many questions were on homework 15? There's a total of 16, so the answer would be 16. So very simple to get some of the answers, and then obviously some you would have to have worked out to get the answers. Okay, do be careful, and hopefully we don't go all virtual, but if we do, make sure that you have this packet with you. So take this home with you every day. So in case the whole school does go virtual, you have that packet and you don't have to worry about it being at school or something like that. And it's at home with you. Remember, you can still pick up those packets. You go to this front office, you tell them you want a packet, and they'll try to get that for you. But that, you have to put that effort in to go get it. If we were happening to go all virtual, I would still do the classes the same way. We just have one more lesson after this done, and we're done. So just keep that in mind. Okay. Email or chat with me in Microsoft Teams. If you still have questions, I usually will respond in Microsoft Teams, even if you do email me. So please make sure that you're using that to communicate with me. If you do email me, I'll just communicate with you on Teams. Okay, so that is it. The rest of the time that we are in class, if there is any time left over, you can spend working on the homework.